You looking at it like yours. You're separating yourself because you no longer want to be responsible for these.
No, they're my kids. They'll never not be my kids. No way to separate myself.
Most men.
I don't think so.
A few moments later.
A lot of these men don't want to get away from their children. They want to get away from you.
All right, guys, go and check out this compilation video. Here we go.
But I do feel like men do not think of all the things that it requires to support a child, which is crazy because you lived in a house with these children, so you know. So when a guy says things like, oh, I'm not paying your light bill because you have to pay that anyway, well, are you considering the fact that we have 3 people in the house versus me being by myself? Are you considering the fact that
it's not for me to consider that? That's your house.
It's my house, but your kids are here consuming these things. Your kids are using the Wi-Fi. Your kids are using extra water. Hour.
Yes.
Well, you looking at it like yours. You're separating yourself because you no longer want to be responsible for these.
No, they're my kids. They'll never not be my kids. No way to separate myself.
Most men.
I don't think so. I think that a lot of times, and you know, a lot of women like to say, you know, you abandoned the family. No, a lot of these men abandon y'all. A lot of these men don't want to leave their children. They want to leave y'all. A lot of these men don't want to get away from their children. They want to get away from you. That's why, if you know what's so funny? For all of the women that say that he left me and started another family, that tells you right there that the family wasn't the issue. He wanted kids. He wanted stability. He wanted a house. He just didn't want you.
Let me know what you guys think about that. I think this is a very interesting conversation to be had, because the whole narrative, for the most part, is deadbeat father, right? I mean, that's all you hear. Deadbeat father this, deadbeat father that. But I also look at, why did he leave? Why was it difficult for him to see his child? Why was there so many barriers and obstacles that got in his way for him to be a present father? Why was the court system weaponized in the situation? Why was a child weaponized and used as a pawn in these situations? I'm just saying, right? You know, these are valid questions. Now, let's be clear. I'm not condoning for a man to leave his responsibilities. Okay, let's be clear on that. But, you know, to have the conversation and to get curious as to why are men leaving these situations? Right? Why are men starting families somewhere else? Why are men exiting the home? These are solid questions and conversations to be had. And you might even get curious if you're in a similar situation, and you may ask your father, hey, what happened? Right? What happened? What went wrong between you and mom? And he may say, you know what? I did things ABC. If I was to do it all over again, I would have done it XYZ. I'm just saying, right? You may get more insight and maybe even a life lesson from the interaction, from the conversation. Who knows? Who knows, right? Because again, I think for the most part, fathers want to be there. They want to be there for their children. They do. Are there deadbeat fathers out there? For sure, there are. But, you know, for the most part, it's very few and far between in comparison to the fathers that actually want to be here. So let me know what you guys think about that. That's just my 2 cents on this. I think for the most part, you got to really protect your seed. You got to really understand what you're doing. If you're going to have kids, you know, ideally marry before you carry, and be in a situation where you're able to have tough conversations. Really go in depth with who and what you're getting yourself into. Okay, to the guys that still value relationships and marriages, choosing a woman is probably going to be one of the greatest financial decisions that you make of your life, because it could really help you or it could really destroy you. Okay, it really can. So you definitely want to dot your I's and cross your T's in that situation. And who knows, it still might not work out. There's some guys watching this right now saying, listen, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was choosing a good woman. Fast forward 5-10 years later, she flips on you, right? So there's no guarantees for sure. But going back to the topic here, there's definitely a conversation to be had as to why men are leaving these situations. Okay, and more often than not, the mother plays a factor in the situation.
The dating pool is trash. The men are trash. It's just so bad. So I'm on the phone last night and I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, oh, are you gonna buy me this bathing suit, right? Jokingly. Because I already knew that the answer was gonna be no, but I just wanted to see what his response was gonna be.
Cap, big cap. I'm just joking. I just wanted to see what he was gonna say. So what if he said, forget about the bathing suit. Let me go ahead and book you a flight. Let's go to Miami. Matter of fact, here's $1,000 to go shopping. Go nuts, right? Would she say, oh, well, I'm just joking?
So I said, are you gonna give me this bathing suit? He goes, you never got me anything. Strike one. Then he proceeds to say, well, I took you out on a date, I brought you dinner, and I paid for your hookah. I said, yeah, you...
Guys, paid for the hookah and crab legs, right? These chicks are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for hookah and crab legs. Go gadget crab leg, right? Yo, wow. Thou shalt not take these chicks to get hookah and crab legs.
Asked me out on a date. Who did you think was gonna be paid for that? Me? That was strike two. And then I'm like, well, you never asked me for anything. Who's to say that if you asked me for something, I wouldn't have gotten it for you? But we're not talking about you. We're talking about me. I asked you for something, and then you flipped it and said, well, I never got anything. Where are these men from? Like, where did they come from? Like, I don't know if I'm more mad at that sassy response. Like, you could have just said no, or you could have just lied like most men do and be like, yeah, baby girl, I got you. Even if it's not the truth. But when they answer back with that, like, well, nobody ever brought me flowers, nobody ever pays to get my nails done, what are y'all talking about? Who's the woman in the relationship?
There you have it, folks. I mean, hey, she says that she's telling a joke. Maybe he's telling a joke. You ever think about that? Maybe you want to tell some jokes, maybe he's telling a joke, okay? So, hey, we're both telling jokes. What's up?
My boyfriend mentioned this to me right before he left for work, and I was just thinking about it on my drive to work. Body count does matter. Your body count matters as a girl simply for the fact that it matters to men. And if that's what you're chasing, that's what you want to attract is men, well then, therefore, it matters because it matters to them. Why would a man want to claim a girl who's slept with 30, 40, 50 men? She done been passed around. That's a lot of people. Yeah, I don't even know if I've met that many people in my lifetime. I'm joking. But yeah, it matters to them. They care about that. And I'm not speaking for every single man in this world, because of course there's men that they don't care about, but those are probably the men that you don't want. So yeah, it does matter. It matters. And trust me, I'm not claiming to be no saint, and I used to think that same way too. Like, why does it matter? Like, it's my body, blah blah blah. And he taught me that it matters because it's not like this full thought out explanation. It's just because it matters to them. And if that's what you want is a man, then it matters. It does. Anyways, I'm going to stop saying it matters.
Women deep down inside knows that it matters. It matters. How do we know this? Ask a woman what her body count is. Okay, she'll be hemming and hawing, trying to shame you, trying to, throw insults, shame, guilt, need to be right. Yeah, she's going to throw all of that your way because you ask her about her body count. Okay, she's going to call you insecure and all this other stuff. So if it's no big deal, what's your body count, right? What's your body count? Now, it's not because we necessarily care per se what the number is, but it's more so what the number represents. If a woman has a body count of 1 or 2 versus a woman has a body count of 60 or 100, that says something, right? That says a whole lot. Okay, it definitely says that, hey, maybe there's some trauma there. Maybe there's some outside influences, family, friends, social media. Okay, you're easily influenced. There's definitely a lack thereof there. Maybe there's some sort of family dynamic that was off kind of growing up. Okay, you have learned behavior that has basically triggered something where you're now sleeping around. Right? We already know the numbers where 75 to 80% of modern women are leaving relationships and marriages. Okay, you compound that on top of a woman that is sleeping around with 60 bodies, okay, with the trauma and all that other stuff, okay? That's a big deal. And there's even studies that suggest, and I'll let you guys form your own conclusion, but there's studies that suggest that the more bodies a woman has, the less likely she is to either get married or file for divorce, okay? Because, you know, she is going to resort back to what she knows, right? That's why they say you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, because sooner or later she's gonna get bored. You know, if you're working a lot, she's gonna feel neglected. She's gonna get bored of the relationship. Okay, you guys are not doing freaky deaky stuff in the bedroom. She's going to, you know, maybe size you up in comparison to her previous freaky deaky situations and experiences. Yeah, sooner or later, there's going to be a problem. I mean, hey, you could ask her body count and she might lie to you. Okay, they say what, times it by 3. So if she says that it's 5, could be 15. Okay, I'm just saying. But there's definitely indicators to determine who she really is.
STDs have entered the chat. So this esthetician said, I stopped doing Brazilians after 2 poop butts and a herpes outbreak. The herpes outbreak made me literally jump. You know, I have had encounters with clients who didn't realize they had an STD, and I'm not able to diagnose or say anything, but you need to go to the doctor. And it can be scary, especially if you see it firsthand up close, but the client is not thinking it's an STD. I've had 2 situations where they thought it was ingrowns, and I had to be very clear and say, this isn't ingrowns. You definitely need to go and seek some medical attention. One came back and thanked me profusely that I made her do it because she didn't realize how serious it was. But it definitely makes you think what we expose ourselves to, right? So I talk a lot about poop butt. People come on and, oh, you know, you're always talking about poop butt because it's always present. We have a lot of people that bring poop butt to us along with other things, bodily fluids, STDs, other people's bodily fluids. You know, they don't bathe. There's a lot of things that we deal with as a Brazilian waxer. And for some, they can handle it. Some people say, I don't want to handle it. I don't want to deal with it. And I completely understand both sides of the coin. For me, I didn't really give myself a choice. It was a means for me to earn income. So being a single mom at that time, I did what I needed to do. I just didn't give myself the opportunity to not do it. After all the years of training that I did and everything that I got to, I just never gave myself an opportunity not to do Brazilian waxing. It's good money, but you are going to be in the trenches. You are going to see a lot of stuff. It can be traumatizing. You're going to have hard conversations with people. You're going to have to explain to them, you know, what's happening if you can, or you're just going to have to say, you got to go to the doctor for this. But I completely understand this. I've seen it up close, and I was more heartbroken for the women that just didn't know they had the STD. I think that's kind of what got me more than looking at it, just realizing they didn't know that they thought it was an ingrown and it was not ingrowns.
Yeah, so there you have it. Okay, so the life of a Brazilian waxer. Okay, the chronicles that she is, man, this is insane. Insane. These chicks are showing up, other bodily fluids on them, STDs, herpes, not bathing, poop butt, dumpster juice everywhere, just everywhere. Okay, showing up as a petri dish of bacteria, getting a Brazilian wax. Crazy. You guys got to be careful. This whole hookup culture and, you know, chicks out here thotting and bopping, hookah and crab legs. Yeah, a lot of these chicks are not bathing. Okay, these Instagram chicks, these Instagram influencers, chicks that, you know, we view and are like, okay, you know, this chick doesn't look too bad. Behind the scenes, a lot of them ain't bathing. So be careful, okay? Be careful. Strap up twice if you have to, or, you know, hey, wait till marriage, okay? Because seems like it's not worth it out here. But hey, let me know what you guys think about this one. Give me some feedback, and until next time.